Mr. Toth, for what purpose?
Will the gentleman yield for questions?
Will the gentleman yield for questions?
I yield.
The gentleman yields for questions.
Okay, my $64,000 question. Mr. Bryant, do you play golf?
No.
You don't? You ever heard of Howling Trails Golf Course?
No.
You've never heard of Howling Trails Golf Course? Then
No.
you probably don't know who it's owned by, do you?
I guess not.
It's owned by La Jolla ISD.
So what?
So it's okay that an ISD owns a golf course?
I don't like that. Let's have an amendment.
But aren't we talking about misappropriation of funds here?
Well, let me ask you
compared to ISDs versus charter schools?
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Toth, or pose respond anyway in a fashion that might be informative. If they have a particular reason for that that relates somehow to their school student body, for example, recreation or something for the...
How about a water park? Should La Jolla own a water park?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
If they can justify that somehow or another, we should hear them out. But generally speaking, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
But
let me ask you, has that school district been sued for buying an airplane or buying boxes? Has it been sued for malfeasance of some kind?
No, you got a great point.
Okay, so we're talking here about settlements when you've been sued for doing the wrong thing. You should not be able to use tax dollars if you're a charter school that's not governed by an elected board, that's able to even borrow money on the state's credit without a bond election, misbehaving. And we're saying those folks cannot use
Mr. Bryant,
cannot use state funds.
Mr. Bryant, I'm asking questions from
I'm not finished answering your question.
Members, please refrain from talking over one another so y'all can hear
If you could
everyone's
stick
debate.
to, Mr. Bryant,
Those
if you could
folks
just stick to
cannot
the
use
question.
state funds to pay off settlements. That's all this amendment does.
Okay, well, a plane was never purchased by that charter school, but let me ask you about Granbury ISD and the superintendent use of their private Granbury ISD plane and the superintendent using that plane for his family trip. Is that okay?
I don't know if that's true or not, but if it's true, the school board ought to do something about it. But you know what? The public has a remedy.
Well,
there.
ABC said that, and they don't lie, do they?
But you know what? When a charter school misbehaves, you can't vote out the school board.
So how about $60 million football stadiums? Is that okay? How many charter schools have built $60 and $70 and $80 million football stadiums?
That's up to the local school district.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Let me ask
Appreciate
you,
that.
I would ask Mr. Toth this question in conclusion, a rhetorical question, Mr. Toth. Has that school district been sued for misbehavior, for malfeasance, for doing something wrong? No, it hasn't.
You're an attorney, aren't you, Mr.? You're an attorney, aren't you?
You want to debate the merits of charter schools, and I'm not here to debate the merits of charter schools.
Mr. Bryant, you're an attorney, aren't you?
I'm saying that charter schools should not be able to use public money to pay legal settlements as a result of their malfeasance. That seems like a pretty good idea to me.
Mr. Bryant, you're an attorney, aren't you?
Yes.
Can anyone bring a lawsuit for pretty much anything?
Yeah, but you can't win one. Thank you.
Well, let me ask you another. We're not done, Mr. Bryant. How about lawsuits by parents against ISDs for failure? You brought up IDEA initially, and the failure to meet IDEA requirements. How about people that are bringing lawsuits against ISDs for their failure to educate their children when they have dyslexia? We have multiple families at Conroe Independent School District whose children are not being served that have to sue the district for services. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appreciate it.
It is question and answer. Make sure you do not talk over one another.
Now, Mr. Toth wants to argue about charter schools versus public schools, but that's not why I came up here. I'm saying charter schools that misbehave and have settlements rendered against them because of malfeasance should not be able to use public money to pay those settlements. It's just that plain. I urge you to vote no on the motion to table.